Welcome to this video on a leadership guide to building an AI-ready workforce. My name is Lachlan and I'm the founder of Nexus, a business which partners with leading organizations to help them with their strategy, innovation, and AI transformation. Within this video today, we're going to be taking a look at everything from a high-level overview of how you can build the correct skills, capabilities, and job roles within your organization, but also trying to answer the questions that I'm getting more often than not, such as, how do I understand what skills and capabilities should I build in my organization? How do I prioritize certain skills and job roles over others? And how do I ensure that my business or my workforce is fit for the future? So we will aim to answer all these questions within this video, so I hope you enjoy. Leaders today have a dilemma on their hands. They have two very different paths that they can choose. Do they go down the path of automation, or do they go down the path of augmentation? Two of these paths are very distinct, very different. If we take a look at automation first, this is all about replacing humans with machines, displacing people, replacing skills, and replacing job roles with AI. And this can lead to high margins at the beginning, as it reduces your costs, it reduces your headcount, and it allows you to become more efficient. However, this is normally a narrow horizon, as the businesses that choose to go down this route really end up commoditizing their value, where competitors can easily adopt the same tools that you're using and match you in terms of your competitive advantage on that same baseline. So true transformation, has to have people at the center. And this is what augmentation aims to do. Here, AI is not a displacement, but more so a digital co-worker. AI agents and humans working side by side, collaborating together, and AI actually augments human creativity, judgment, and execution. So here, businesses actually thrive because they're developing new workflows, new ways of working, and ultimately this can lead to greater innovation and a difficulty for your competitors to match you in terms of your overall advantage in the marketplace. So what my advice would be to leaders, if they are trying to choose both of these paths at the moment, to go down the route of augmentation. This is the only option, having humans and AI work as one, collaborating together, as the real future sees AI and machines working as one, working together. But the difficulty of doing this is that you're going to have to go through a workforce transformation. You're going to have to go through a whole business transformation. But this video specifically will look at how can you build the correct skills and capabilities that align with augmentation, that allow you to win in the future and prepare your business for the new AI-driven era. Alright, so we're going down the route of augmentation. As I mentioned, augmentation demands more from us. It demands us to redefine job roles, to build the correct capabilities, and give people an opportunity to migrate into new job roles. A recent report from McKinsey found that 46% of businesses are finding that the biggest obstacle when it comes to a transformation or AI adoption comes down to actually skills and capabilities. And I'm not surprised by this. Normally, when we think about transformation, people believe that technology leads it and we have to start off with technology. And this just isn't the case. Technology will do whatever it is you tell it to do, but people is a whole different story altogether. It's difficult to change people, behaviours and culture, but without the right skills, pathways and job roles, even the most ambitious AI agenda won't work. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the AI workforce transformation framework. But before I talk you through the 4 different stages, I actually want to introduce you to Sarah, a CPO for a large organisation based in the Middle East. And I want to talk you through Sarah's story and how she leveraged this framework and built the right processes, systems and structures that enabled her organisation to thrive in terms of building the correct skills and capabilities based on the future state of the business. Now, when I met Sarah, she came to me with a problem that she was feeling under pressure from the CEO to come up with the correct skills and capabilities without any oversight in terms of the actual direction of travel of the organisation. So after our workshop, She became educated on the importance of starting off with the overall business strategy, and this had to come from the business executive team. And then, after a few conversations, this is where this organization started. Starting off with phase zero, diagnosis and strategy. So, after Sarah explaining to the executive team that before she can redesign roles and bring in new skills to the business, they must make some disciplined choices about the future of their business. Some of the choices are as simple as what is our winning aspiration? Where are we going to play? In what locations? In what geographies? And how are we going to win? Making these choices is so critical because when you decide where you're going to play, what customers you're going to focus on, and how you're actually going to create competitive advantage in those marketplaces, then you can decide what capabilities you need in order to win. So Sarah explained this to the executive team, and then it was their job over the next 6 to 8 weeks to come up with that core strategy for the organization. And from there, Sarah could then move into her first step of phase one, looking at workforce diagnosis and capability mapping. Capability mapping isn't about looking at the number of people in your organization, but more so understanding the level of skills throughout your organization. So Sarah sat down and started to map her current skills. So she started to conduct a capability gap analysis and trying to understand our core strengths and her core weaknesses in the business. From there, then she was able to take and map the future state of the organization. She was able to identify the core skills and capabilities based on the core business strategy that were definitely most critical to build, but also other skills that needed to be built in the future if that business was to win in the new AI era. Based on this current state and future state, she then conducted the gap analysis and made sure that she clearly understood the core skills and how she was going to bridge those gaps. Sarah then had to make a decision. Was she going to outsource training and education in order to bridge these gaps, or was she going to build a career pathways program? So phase two was building this program. Now, a career pathways program is a structured route that allows you to migrate employees from their current roles into new future roles in the organization. But it's more than just a program, it's a whole organizational capability that has mentors, structures, systems, and processes in place that allows people to be educated in line with new future critical roles in the organization based on the strategy. Sarah ensured that she embedded the correct support resources to answer all critical questions in terms of where can I go, how can I get there, and what support do I have along the way. These questions were quickly answered, giving employees across the whole organisation a clear direction of travel if they wanted to move on to new future pathways. Based on the business strategy that was developed, there were 5 core skills or capabilities that needed to be built. Sarah then took these and made these the core career pathways for people to evolve into. Once Sarah had the career pathways set out, she then built the necessary support structures in order for her to be successful. And this wasn't just about building the right skills or building the right educational content. It was more than this. It was about creating a psychology of safety, giving people the right correct support, networking and mentorship to ensure that they understood where they were going in the business itself. She even moved certain people within her own business unit around, creating a career pathways excellence team that was built around key undergraduate methods and instructional design practices, allowing people to take education that was engaging, structured, and based on the future state of the organization. And from there, she made even more key critical decisions in around how she would develop content. So she had 3 different options, whether she would develop it herself with it in-house, she would curate it, or she would purchase it. And these were all critical questions that had to be answered. Sarah even went one step further and worked with the AI team to build AI agents for instructional design reasons. She built AI agents to help develop training courses, where she used the ADDIE framework, an agent for analysis, an agent for design, an agent for development, an agent for implementation, and an agent for evaluation. She then got these agents working together to produce scripts, to produce learning outcomes, to produce courses at an unprecedented speed. It was amazing to see. With this system in place, Sarah was able to develop content in weeks as opposed to months. And it was very, very important for her to communicate this in the right way. She made sure that employees understood we aren't replacing you. We're building the right skills and job roles for the future, and you're going to help us get there. With the Career Pathways program set up, Sarah then could move on to the final phase, phase 3, performance and continuous improvement. This allowed Sarah to look at her structures, her systems, the capabilities that they were building, and the job roles that were in place, and understand through KPIs whether it was having a return of investment for the organization. So this was everything from financial outcomes, operational outcomes, people outcomes, and ethics and trust outcomes. For example, a core strategy capability that had to be built was around innovation. So she used these KPIs to track whether new AI scalable products was being produced in the business itself for customers, producing more value. And by the end of phase 3, Sarah had built a transformation engine that achieved 3 core goals. Number 1, that she was aligned towards the strategic objectives of the organization. Number 2 was that she had built a culture of continuous adoption and learning. And number 3 was that the confidence of the CEO and the board had been won. Not only had the business had built AI future ready skills, but they were ready today and for whatever comes next because they have the right structures, the right systems, and the right people and processes in place. Upon speaking to Sarah recently and reflecting over the successful transformation journey, Sarah gave me some risks and watchouts that I feel is important to share with you now. She said not to underestimate how much identity is tied up in people's jobs. So that identity and cultural resistance is really, really important. When you ask employees to move into more strategic roles within the organization, it's normal to face some form of resistance. And that's why it's important to create a psychology of safety and build the right communication channels across your transformation approach. She also talked about not overemphasizing technical skills. So she said in the beginning, everyone was obsessed with AI skills, whether it be coding, prompting, prompt engineering, automation oversight. But the real differentiation for her was in human-centric skills, such as judgment, ethics, and empathy and collaboration. So what she's saying there is to try and create a balance between technical and also those critical skills when it comes to relationship building, building customer trust, and communicating. Sarah also spoke about resource overload, and she had actually said that she learned quickly that she can't boil the ocean. So it's important that you prioritize what matters. Reskilling programs, career pathways, training and education, they all take money, time and effort. So it's important that you prioritize the core skills and capabilities from your strategy first, and then use these as your quick early wins, then expand from there. Sarah also talked about the importance of aligning your incentives and rewards. She'd mentioned that first, they encouraged employees to collaborate with AI, but performance reviews were still tied to old metrics, such as efficiency, output, and individual performance. So employees actually felt conflicted here. So if you don't align incentives with the new behaviors you want, people won't shift, as culture really only follows what you measure and reward. And finally, the final takeaway is also to focus on agility. She mentioned that the AI landscape moves at a very high speed. Tools, use cases, and competitors are constantly shifting. And she said that some of the training in her first year that she had developed was nearly outdated by the end of the year. That goes to show you how fast things are moving at the moment. So don't think transformation as a one-off project. It's a continuous loop of learning, adapting, and refreshing. Those are Sarah's 5 core watchouts that you must try and minimize the risk on. But I think the key takeaway is pretty important as well to mention that true transformation actually is about people and their identity. It's about the culture of your organization rather than the technology itself. I hope you enjoyed this video on building an AI ready workforce. If you do need any support in around strategy, innovation, and AI transformation, then don't be afraid to get in touch with me today through my website and somebody will get back in touch. Also, don't be afraid to like and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching.